Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the CheckDown. I'm here with the crew. J Mick, how you feeling, bro?
Feeling good. I mean, and we're about to release these like top five teams, and I guess everybody ain't gonna be happy. So hey,
Pop, how you feeling? Oh, Dre,
Hey,
how you feeling?
I'm
Yeah.
feeling good. Glad to be back with the people, and I can't wait to see the fallout of what our top five teams gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see the reaction to the top five. But it's important to remember this is the top five. This is the end of the road. And even if you're not number one, you're still one of the top teams in the NFL. Just keep that in mind when you're watching.
All right, so we're gonna get into the little recap real quick, man. Play back a couple of these lists, man, so we know where we at before we get into it. Make sure I got the right one first. All right. What's up? Come up. All right, there we go. All right, we got the Panthers at 32, Broncos at 31, Patriots at 30, Giants 29, Commanders 28. I mean, it played out pretty well, man. I know a lot of people think the Broncos should have been 32.
I mean 31,
I
32.
heard that a few times.
Tomato, man.
It's not.
Yeah,
Hey, that one spot meant something to them Panthers, man. It was like we not
It's
32, we 31.
it's all in the same ballpark. I mean, shit. In the spaces we host, I know you done heard a lot of people say the Giants got a better roster than the Commanders, better coaching than the Commanders. So it's an argument to be made there too. But I mean, look,
Yeah.
it's one spot. Ain't nobody tripping over for the spot.
plus these is just preseason and right. This is just off-season rankings, right? So these teams
Yeah, man.
can move, have a possibility to move up.
Yeah, these just the off season. Yeah.
And we're gonna do another ranking right before the season starts anyway. So
Let us see your team perform a little bit, bro. Yeah, let me see your team do a little something real quick. Then we can put out another ranking of what we seen, what we heard, how it's putting together. Right now, you got what 90 people on the roster.
yeah,
It's hard to. I mean, I'm giving a power ranking for 90 individuals, and I got to cut that to 37. Like, come on, man. It's a lot of guys on your roster that won't be the uh going into the season, man. You gotta wait for it to play out. I want to see the 53-man roster, then I can give a better outline of what's going on. Yeah, ESPN got the soft draft of your depth chart, but it might be a guy that go down. It might be a guy that come up that we didn't expect to be a starter. Like anything could change in your team in the next 2 months.
yeah, that's a
We got
fact.
90 days for the first game. Like it's a lot that can happen between here and 90 days, bro. 90 days in a season change a lot. Like, you know what I mean? So what it is, y'all. What it is, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with us, man. We got 33 people in here, man. We just giving a recap of the power rankings before we give out the top five. Uh, yeah, man. If you've been tuned in, you kind of know what's going on already. You know a few teams are, in spots that they're not happy with. So the next part of the we had, let's see, we got the Titans at 27, Cardinals at 26, Vikings at 25, Raiders at 24, Chargers at 23. I know that now listen, I ain't gonna lie. After actually running into some Charger fans, they're a little bit more upset than originally discussed. I mean, at first it was like, we kind of good at 23, but then after seeing or actually evaluating their own team, I guess they feel a little bit better about where they should be at. You know what I mean? So I
But
did get some pushback on that 23.
I don't even understand that. Like, I feel like 23 is still a pretty good spot for the Chargers. We're talking about a team that was just picking in the top five.
And I mean, like, you don't even really know what, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, I got a new coach and all that. I got a new GM and all that. I mean, the quarterback position is set. But outside, to be
I
honest.
mean, you had a lot of off-season losses. You still have some holes. We need to see what the team looks like, and I think 23 is pretty good for the Chargers. If we're looking at the other teams that we have above them, like there's just a lot of question marks, specifically at the tight end and wide receiver position. Like that depth, like we just don't know what that's going to look like right now.
Like, I mean, they number one is what? QJ
For right
at this
now, but
moment?
that can't change.
It could
Yeah,
be. I mean, who knows? I mean, they
Might
could
be Lad.
lad they number one. You just don't know. Like,
we don't know who the one is. We can speculate on who the wide receiver two is. We can speculate on who will be wide receiver three. We don't even know who their starting running back is going to be. So there's just a lot of question marks with that team at the moment.
I mean, honestly, like I could see I
Yeah.
could see
I
the
mean,
Raiders.
yeah.
The Raiders won what 8, 9 games last year. Like, I mean, the Raiders could be better than them. I mean, to be honest, we want to be real honest about it. I mean, the only thing the Raiders that I think is really missing is they're
I think
missing
our biggest. I think our quarterback.
yeah,
Yeah,
quarterback.
the quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Aiden O'Connell. We don't know if the starter is going to be Gardner Minshew this season. But I think at every other position on the team, they're pretty set. And we're going to see a full year of AP as the head coach. So
Yeah.
we
And my
need to
only
see what
question
that.
for them, I mean, besides quarterback, is there like cornerback too? Like that's a question I got to see, throughout training camp for them. I mean, like who comes up and takes that spot? But other than that, I mean, like they got a pretty good roster. Like I think the Raiders they get solid quarterback play. I think they could be, I'm not gonna say like a playoff team, but I think they could be in contention though.
Hey man, nephew, calm down, brother. What you gonna report us for, man? Hey, we ain't even gave out no ranking for the top five yet.
Man,
Jesus.
I'm gonna tell that boy. I mean, you report me, then I'm gonna report
All
you,
right.
bro.
Yeah, man. We gonna you know what I'm saying? We got a reporting fair. So all right. We got the Saints at 22, Bears at 21, Seahawks at 20, Jaguars at 19, Colts at 18, Falcons at 17. It's a lot of pushback on the Falcons and the Seahawks.
I'm high on the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to be a playoff team, and if not, they're going to barely miss the playoffs this year. I'm dead set on that. I heard some other people that were high on the Seahawks, but there's a lot of people that aren't. So let's see what happens. Bro.
I've heard both ways. Yeah, I've heard both ways. I've heard people that say they should have been more in the bottom 10 than 20, and I've heard people say they should have been top 15ish.
Yeah, and with the
It's been a little
Falcons,
bit of
I've
a little
heard
bit of
they should have been a little lower just because, like, yeah, they added Kirk Cousins, but there's still a lot of people feel like there's still a lot of holes on that team, and they're not that they are not better than the Seahawks or the Jaguars. So I've heard conversations about that.
I think where they I mean where the I ain't gonna lie. I think court offensively the Bears, right? To me, right, maybe should have been higher because I mean, I think to me, on paper, they what I would say they have a top 10 on paper right now, top 15ish on paper.
I mean, a
Offense.
receiving core for sure. Receiving core, yes. Tight
I
end,
would say receiving
yes.
core, running back. I think the only
Running
thing
back,
the
I
only thing
don't
you have to
know.
figure out if the offensive line was as bad as it was.
Yeah, but
I mean,
but
they
my
got
issue,
Swift and Herbert, right? Herbert.
yeah, but I mean that's the question. Is like the Bears. You don't even know who their starter would be. Like there's a competition for that. Like I mean, like people think that Roshan is going to be the starter, but we don't know that 100% yet. So it's kind of hard to say that they got a top 10 running back in the league if you don't even know who the starter is.
Yeah, now that one,
I mean, I wasn't saying
I
top 10
think
running
tight
back. I'm
end
saying
and wide
offense
receiver too.
altogether.
Tight end,
Amen.
tight end, wide receiver. I think top 10. Caleb Williams is a question mark right now. Still, offense
Question
line
mark.
we got to see. Running back, we still got to see what they're gonna do at the running back position. So I think they have potential to be a lot better than where they are, but we got to see it first.
Yeah, because if
Yeah.
Caleb have a good year, then that offense is not going to be top 10. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, but if he has a good year, then they could be a top 10 offense.
Y'all right. You right. You right. I mean, I think they got a pretty good offense on paper, but I understand they do got some you know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying,
just
they
hard
still
with the
got some
whole like rookie
what's it
quarterback,
called?
and that
No, hold on. Fair, we're not on the middle part. We're recapping everything before we get to the last five. Today's the top five.
Uh,
And Gina, why you come into the
small
stream
league.
pissed off? How you pissed off and you just got in the stream? That's crazy.
Don't even hey look, don't even know the position of your team. You just come in mad. Like
exactly.
But them
Jesus.
Chiefers are different. Them Chiefers are different for real.
Bro,
Way
like,
different,
yeah,
man. He came in on bullshit. Like, yeah, you better have us somewhere good too.
Man, I find it funny a Cowboys fan talking about mid. That shit to me is hilarious.
hey.
We the
Yeah, that's
definition
that's,
of
that's some good
mid.
shit.
But
All right, so we
he
got
can't be talking about mid. We disrespect. How we disrespectful? We not disrespectful. You disrespectful. You came in the chat pissed off.
Disrespectful. We have done nothing. We have said nothing crazy about the Chiefs. We have given y'all credit. I don't understand what the
But we haven't
disrespect
really even
is.
talked about the Chiefs. We
Yeah,
said
like we go get there.
Exactly. Is it because like our conversations are Chiefs dominated? Like we have to talk about 31 other teams.
all right, so we got the Steelers at 16, Buccaneers at 15, Dolphins at 14, Jets at 13, Browns at 12, Packers 11. I think to me, right, out of all the like rankings that we had, I had a few arguments. This like the one I don't got arguments with. Like I kind of see it kind of falling similar to this because like I think 11 and 16 was probably the most accurate for me.
my only thing is I started thinking about it because I was in a jet space this morning, and they was talking about Russell Wilson and Pickens. And I mean the Russell Wilson is the perfect quarterback for George Pickens because Russell don't like to throw it over the middle of the field, and I mean Pickens operates on the outside the hash. So I mean the Steelers like they might be better than 16. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think they probably will end up. I'll say this: if their draft picks hit, which is a big if, right? Because damn near nobody hits on all their picks. But if they hit on those offense line picks, there's no way for me to see them finishing any lower than probably like 12th in the NFL. I can't see them being any worse than the 12th team in the NFL if that offense line greatly improves.
Yeah, and I mean like Pickett was their quarterback, and they still won what 9 games last, what 9, 10 games last year.
Something
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
Be
I
much better
think
than
that
Pickett.
I think they have a better quarterback situation than they did last year. And like to Dre's point, if that offensive line could be shored up, I really think this is a potentially wild card team in the AFC. I really do like the Steelers. I do want to see what their wide receiver depth is because I know it's Pickens and Roman Wilson, but I need to see who else is gonna solidify that group. But I really do like the potential of the Steelers, and I have a feeling that they could move up in the rankings.
God damn, the comments going crazy right now.
Yeah, for real.
All right. I mean, hey man, appreciate y'all for being here. Hey man, we got 71 people, man. Look, share it out. Share it to the people that you know ain't watching right now, man. Get them to tap in. Look, man, we it's good dialogue going on in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Feel free, man. However you feel about your team, man. The comments is open. We gonna try our best to keep up. Lil Pat is insane though.
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
Lil Pat is
Neff
going
going crazy.
crazy.
Neff going crazy in the comments.
For real.
I agree with you though, Neff. I'm not gonna say it on the stream, but I agree with you.
Yeah, nah.
Oh man. All right. So at the start of the top 10, man, we got the Bengals at 10. We got the Bills at 9. The Cowboys at 8. Rams at 7. Texans at 6. The Bengals really don't like their spot.
I don't like the Bengals spot either. I'm gonna
But damn,
keep it a buck with y'all.
niggas in the top 10 and you don't like your spot?
Nah, I don't. I don't like the spot for the Bengals either. I think the Cowboys. To me, the Cowboys and Rams probably are 10 and 9. I would say the Bills are 8, and I'll put the Bengals 7. That's how I'm
Yeah,
just
but
looking at this right here. The Bengals have look. The Bengals they have probably the best wide receiver core, or they do have the best wide receiver core out of all of these teams. I think they'll be all right at the running back position if Joe Burrow stays healthy, which is a big if. But if he stays healthy, they have the second or best quarterback out of this group. The defense is going to be good. Lou Anarumo is one of the best defensive coordinators in football. I don't agree with this 10 spot. I really don't.
For
I mean,
me,
my
I'm
issue with
okay with them being 10, and it's what you brought up, Jay, the health of Joe Burrow. I
Yeah, but
need.
that's not what we're ranking right now. We're ranking
I
their
I
rosters.
understand. I understand that. But Joe Burrow's health has to be taken into consideration. I do agree with you. I think they could be a top 7, top 16, but just right now for me, I'm okay with them being 10. You're still in the top 10, so I don't really see a problem with their position.
and I mean, like what I was gonna say is like the Bengals, like they lost some pieces on defense. Like they lost their best run stopper. What I mean, like he went to the Lions, and I mean, yeah, I mean, like we said, like their wide receiver core might be the best out of this group, but they also lost Boyd. I mean, Boyd went to the Titans, and so I mean, you got Chase. I mean, I definitely know Chase gonna play, but I mean, Higgins, I mean, I don't think he's gonna hold out, but there's no telling. And I mean, like you do gotta take Joe Burrow's health into consideration. I'm not putting no like injury prone tag on him and nothing like that. But that's just something you have to have in your back of your mind that he didn't finish the season last year. And I mean, like they O line to me, it's better, but it's not. I mean, it's still not a top 10 unit to me. So, like I said, like if you're in the top 10, and I mean, for them, and like they finished middle of the pack last year. I mean, I don't think 10 is the best spot for them.
So what's the argument for the Bills being a better team than the Bengals?
I mean, to me, the Bills got a better quarterback. They got a better O line. They got a better tight end, and I think their defense is better.
They lost half of their defense, didn't they?
They lost Tre'Davious White, who
But
only
half the
played.
defense didn't play though.
Yeah. Most of the dudes that they didn't re-sign. I mean, they didn't play that much, for the exception of the safeties. Now, I'll give you the safety position is for the Bills is not certain, because I mean they lost
But wasn't
Poyer
wasn't one of those safeties not supposed to play, J Mick? One of them was supposed to be out, but then the actual starter got hurt, right?
Yeah, I think that was Poyer. I think it's Poyer because he went to the Dolphins. Like he had like a neck situation, and so.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like the Bill. I mean, the same argument that you use for the Bengals with the DC, I can use it for the Bills with their head coach. I mean, like they constantly finish, I don't say every year, but the last 3-4 years with a top 10 defense, and I mean, like their defense is constantly getting hurt every year, but they still finish in the top 10. So I mean, I could use the same argument for the Bengals and the Bills defensively.
I don't know. I'm looking at that secondary, especially like Rasul Douglas, Taylor Rapp, Mike Edwards, and Christian Benford.
And I actually like their safety. I mean, not their safeties, but they're like corners. I think their corners are pretty good.
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. But I would put the Bengals around 7. That's where I would have them. I'd have the Bengals 7. I have the Bills 8, Cowboys 10, and the Rams 9.
I can agree with the
I like
Rams
the
being a
Rams
little
spot, bro.
lower.
And I think the Rams got
I
a really
like the
bad.
Rams spot though. I think they got them.
I,
I think they got a solid. You got Matt Stafford. You got a solid offensive line. You got a solid running back room. You got a Puka Nakua who wasn't supposed to break out last year. You got a Cooper Cup who won't start the season this year, injured. And then I mean, I just feel like they added to the offense, and then you lost AD, right? But then you bring in Brandon Fisk, you bring in Jared Verse. You already had some guys in that room. You get Tre'Davious White, you get Cam Curl out of Washington. I mean, I think they solidified the back end. I think the Rams in a good. I think they're in the right spot. To me personally,
I hear you, but I don't think that AD loss should be overlooked. I don't think you can offset the production that he gave that squad over the last decade or so and think that these rookies are going to come and even give you that type of production.
I
I
ain't talking
think
about just
that
the rookie though.
team,
Don't they had guys on the roster
but
last year, right?
I'm not done with my statement. I'm not done with my statement. So I think yeah, Verse and Fisk will produce, but you need the other guys on that line to also show up. And also, I don't know who their defensive coordinator is. It's a guy that they hired in house, and I just need to see what that looks like. So I could see the Rams dropping maybe to 8 or 9, but I will still have them as a top 10 team because, like to your point, Smitty, they have a solid offense. I think the only question mark for them is the tight end position because I think they retained Higby and they didn't really upgrade that position. But overall, just looking at that offensive side of the ball, that's a really solid squad. For me, I just need to see what this defense looks like outside of the AD era.
Let's see.
Tell me why we 10 again, Dre. Oh, it's a question for you, Dre, in the comments from Anton.
Why they're 10?
Even though you wasn't
Um,
here, he want to know why they at 8.
well, I would have them at 10. That's why he asked that question because I said I would put them at 10. I would put them at 10 because I
Oh,
don't believe in their running back room. I don't believe in their wide receivers outside of CD Lamb. It's projection at this point. I don't believe in their defensive tackles and linebackers. Outside of Parsons, that'd be all right. And in the secondary, you're relying on Trayvon Diggs to come back from injury and be good. Bland, I like. I think y'all are a good team. I just don't think you're a better team than the Bengals. I think the Bengals will be better than you. I think the Bills are going to be better than you, and I think the Rams are going to be better than you. That's why I'll put you at 10.
The only thing I say about the Cowboys is like they're in a weaker division than the Bengals because you gotta take that in account too. Like I mean, the Bengals are in a much difficult division. I mean, like you got 4 teams that could win that division versus the Cowboys. I view that division only 2 teams doing that division: the Eagles and the Cowboys. That's it. Um, and I mean, because for the Bengals, you got the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens. I mean, that is kind of crazy. And like the Bengals have not had a lot of success, like beating, I mean, the Ravens and the Steelers. I mean, over the last couple of years, they haven't really been doing that a whole bunch. So that's the only thing I'd say.
Perry is push. Perry is push. Push. It's pushing.
That's
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 who it is.
push.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
push. And I always be
it's
forgetting that
push.
too, man.
Hey, you need to change your name. Your name
And
need
I
to
know
be
that push is
pushing on
really
here.
cool. I mean, I mean, like his name is Perry. He got to be Caribbean, man.
Okay, Anton.
There ain't no way.
Anton got a response. He said our D tackle was shit last year. Bringing back 8 is my core. You don't
All
trust the
pros.
offense. Top 5 last
No,
year.
I
You
don't
have
trust your
potential.
running back. I don't trust your running backs. No, I don't trust your running backs. I don't trust your receivers outside of CD Lamb. That's exactly what I said. Yes, and your offensive line. I have to see them actually perform this year.
I was gonna say because they got probably one of the better tight ends in the league. So that's one thing I would say.
Yeah, I never said anything about the tight end. Notice I said running back position, and I said wide receivers
outside
outside of CD Lamb.
of CD Lamb.
Yeah, but if you're gonna, so my only thing is like, so like, yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna bring up, the position you got questions on them, you also got to say the tight end, the wide receiver. I mean, yeah, CD. I mean, you could say outside of CD Lamb, but CD gonna get the targets, and he produced last year. I don't see him doing any different this year. Honestly, I mean, he's gonna produce, and I mean, you still got Brandon Cooks. I mean, Brandon Cooks, if you gave him the targets, he could get you 1,000 yards. He's done that with almost every team he's played for, but the Cowboys. The problem is he just ain't getting targets like that because CD getting all the damn targets.
Well, we're gonna see this year. Because that center position, that's one I'm looking at. At center position, we got to see if y'all got that figured out or not.
And didn't their left tackle leave to go to be with the Jets?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
he did.
think Tyler Smith is. He gonna have
But
to
they don't
correct me
know
if I'm
exactly
wrong,
where
but I
Tyler
think
playing
Tyler
at. They
Smith
got
is
him.
gonna
They trying
play
to play
left
him at
tackle.
both. They got him at. Well, they kind of trying to figure out, and they got Cooper Beebe.
BB gonna be the guard apparently, but I
That's
think
why they trying to figure out if what's the name works better at guard because they kind of like Tyler at guard. So they like should they put somebody else at tackle? I think is what I
well,
heard.
I mean, I thought it was going to be Guyton and the guy that they had last year because I thought Guyton was going to play right tackle.
This guy left, right. We got to see about that offense line.
To me, I mean, he's more of a right tackle to me. Like, I mean, when I was doing my draft evaluation, that's what I saw him as. But I mean, who knows? Like, they might be able to plug him into like the left tackle position, and like it might work. I mean, we're just not sure.
I think ESPN does have him
Okay,
listed as a
see
left
Tyler
tackle.
Guyton playing left tackle, Tyler Smith left guard.
So yeah, we got to see about your left tackle then. I mean, I like him. I'm not gonna say he's trash or nothing, but we got to see.
And I mean, with their guards and
We
with
got to
Tyler
see about the center.
and Zach Martin, like I don't think their guards are a question. I think their guards are pretty good. Like I don't, and I mean, Steele is a good tackle. So I think I mean, if you're gonna slot him at right tackle, I think it'll be all right there. But I mean, putting a rookie at left tackle, I mean that shit's tough, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and I'm like we have questions, but y'all still a top 10 team. So
Hey, Stevie, that's a good question, Stevie. I don't know either.
he yelling at us in text.
Jesus Christ! I ain't even hear this much argument through the week when y'all seen the list. Now y'all want to argue live.
That's a fact. That's why we had a goddamn spaces for y'all to come in and argue.
And ain't hear none of this.
None of this, Pop. Not a word. But man, hey man, look, you're gonna start the top five. I'm a little, at five. You know what I'm saying? We got the Eagles, man. You know what I mean? I tried a little bit. I really didn't. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I didn't argue much because like it's a lot of questions for my team. Like my defense, I according to the team that's remaining, I don't really think I got a top two defense, a top three defense in that category. I think my offense can compete with any of these offenses that's up here. But my coaching staff, is new. You know what I mean? And Nick Sirianni don't got the greatest reputation amongst the NFL and things of that nature of what he does great or whatever. So he got to build some things around the team. So at five, I'm kind of okay. Like you know what I'm saying? I kind of that was the first thing I said. I was like, the Eagles gonna be five, and how you know? I'm like, I did the numbers. Like I know our evaluations. I know everybody on the panel and how they gonna break it down. Y'all wanted to break it down, but just being honest, I knew where my team was at because I mean defensively, yeah, I brought in Quayon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I brought in some guys, right? I brought CJ back. I brought in Isaiah Rodgers. Like, I revamped the defense, but what it looked like, you know what I mean? It hasn't been seen. It's yet to perform on the field. I brought in a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. I brought in Kellen Moore. I revamped the offense a little bit with Saquon Barkley, things of that nature. So, like, looking at the other teams, other than the Ravens, like, most of the other teams stayed together. They stayed whole. They added pieces. They didn't really lose a lot of big pieces. So, those teams are more solidified than my team. But I think at the end of this, though, you know what I'm saying, I will be somewhere in that top 3. But right now, I'm gonna settle for the 5. I'm gonna settle for the 5.
Yeah, and to your point, Smitty, you did have a lot of additions to the defensive side of the ball. Like Devin White is one that I have my eye on because his tenure in Tampa Bay the last 2 years was not great, and I just want to see how he performs with y'all. I also need to see what your I believe it's your right cornerback position and what your safety group is going to look like. But overall, I think the Eagles are a solid squad. Um, but I do think the loss of your center, that's something that we need to see because that was a big I'm not gonna lie, that's a big loss for y'all. So we just need to see who y'all replace him with and how that offensive line performs. But overall, I think the Eagles are a top 5 team, and depending on their play, they can potentially move up into a 3 or 2 spot in the league.
So for me, when I look at the Eagles, I'll start with their draft. Like I really did like their draft. I mean, like Quinyon to me, like I had him as the best corner in the draft. And the funny thing was in the pre-draft process, I didn't start that way out. You know, having him as you know like number 1 corner in the draft, but he definitely worked his way up there. But then I also like Cooper DeJean. I don't think he's going to be a corner though. I think his best position will be safety at some point. So just gotta see how that kind of works with him. Will Shipley, I wanted him on my team as my third down back, so I really like Will. Um, and you also drafted Nia Smith, who's got the capability to be a good wide receiver and a good return guy.
That one hurt.
And then let's see what y'all drafted. And y'all got Johnny Wilson too. I mean, some people call him a wide receiver, some people call him a tight end. So
Hey,
You
he
hype
actually
up
been
Johnny
showing up.
Wilson if you want to.
Hey, look, he actually been going crazy at camp, man.
Yeah,
No. Real talk. Like that's probably like the only receiver we got a lot of film on. He been on top of his, man.
And I said this earlier in the week to somebody, like OTAs for me, like
Now when the
I'm
season
not gonna
comes,
judge you. I'm not gonna judge you if you're doing well. I mean, like the only thing I look for OTAs is for the players that I expect to do well and that do really bad. So I don't put a lot of stock into voluntary OTAs. That's just me. But I mean, getting back to the Eagles fantasy, like y'all had a Saquon. That's a definite upgrade. My only questions about the Eagles roster for me is the center because you lost your pretty much he's a Hall of Fame center, so he's not there. And then it's your secondary. Well, not saying your secondary big because I do think Slate's he's still got a couple good years left in him. Like and you drafted Quinyon, who probably gonna be a starting corner. That's kind of a question because he's never played in the NFL, but I think it'll be all right. And then you added CJ. I think CJ Gardner Johnson is fine. I mean, he's shown to be a playmaker. For me, on your defense, it's your linebackers. I mean, your linebackers was bad last year. I mean, there's no way to really sugarcoat that. They weren't good. And you added Devin White. You drafted Trotter Jr. So you gotta. I mean, for me, that's when I look at your defense. That's the only real weak spot that I can really see. And I mean, like if your linebackers could play well, this can be a hell of a defense.
Yeah, I mean, the team definitely, y'all could be better than 5. It's just right now, I got.
Quinyon might not be the starter either, J. Mid.
Well, I'm just going based off the depth chart. That's what I'm going.
Just so y'all know.
I just got
Isaiah Rogers actually been outplaying him right now.
I got some questions about the Eagles. Like I mean, I like the moves y'all made in the draft, but they still have to work out first. You got to see them on the field. And I'm not saying that just because the Eagles. I say that about my team too. Like we was just talking about it before the show. I said Malik Neighbor's been looking good from what I've been hearing. And you said, "Oh, it's supposed to be like that." And I said, "Yeah, but it don't always turn out that way. So it's good to see that it's actually going that way for the player." But I mean, I could see the Eagles. I could see y'all being top 4. I could see you getting to the Super Bowl if everything goes right for you. It's just everything has to go right. Your offense is going to be good. Saquon's probably going to have his most productive year that he's ever had in the NFL just because he's actually playing behind a good offensive line. He shouldn't get hurt because he doesn't have to do as much as he was doing with the Giants. I think a lot of the time he was doing too much, and that led to him getting hurt. And I like your receiving core. I like your tight end. Jalen Hurts, good quarterback. So I think y'all could definitely be a better team. But like I said, I got to see it with the secondary first. I would like to see a guy like Nolan Smith step up and actually be productive this year. I don't think he did a whole lot last year. And your linebackers, I don't believe in your linebackers.
Right.
I got to see it with the linebackers.
I'm 100% sure Bradbury won't play a half a snap. I promise you that, unless somebody go down, multiple people go down with injuries. Bradbury better not play a half a snap.
I was
But
just going to ask you about him
we're gonna
because
go
he
to
got
number 4,
switched
the
to
Eagles.
safety. But before we go to 4,
Well, they
how
actually
do
took
you
him
feel
out of
about him
starting
going?
cornerback.
How do you feel about him going to safety?
Well, they moved him from corner. He's not playing out. He's not playing outside, so they moved him to safety and slot. I think he's too slow, bro. I just don't see him being productive at safety or slot. We tried him at slot last year. He got cooked. They matter of fact, what they did was they motioned tight ends and right where he was at, and just started attacking him with the tight end. Made us move him back outside. Like I just don't see him being able to be somewhere. And I guess you want to try to hide him, but that's not gonna work, bro. You can't hide something like that. They're gonna find Bradbury if you try to put him on his defense.
I mean, don't you think that there's examples though of corners as they get older switching to safety and still being productive when they switch to the safety position?
I mean, that's what we
Yes,
did
it
with
has
Jalen
happened.
Mills, though. I mean, like we got him from Philly. We played corner the first year, and then we put him at safety. I mean, he wasn't the greatest safety in the world, but he was better at safety than he was at corner, though. For us, at least.
Hmm.
All right. So at number 4, we got the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens at 4.
Yo,
I
hold
think
on.
I think
Who
this
is
is
going crazy in the chat? Somebody is going crazy on J Mick in the chat right
Yeah, bro. I just saw that.
now.
Man, that's Jude's old ass, anyways, man.
what happened.
Okay. That's Jude. All right.
They said the CheckDown podcast is 3 people chatting with their grandpa.
I mean, that's cool.
God,
Man,
I wouldn't even watch the chat.
that
So
caught me off guard, man. That one caught me off guard.
go ahead, nephew. What's the question, fam? What's the question, nephew? One free agent you would want for your team. Ooh. Anybody got somebody on top of the head? I gotta think a little bit now.
I got 2. For me, it would be either Linval Joseph or Dory Jackson. One of the 2. Preferably both.
I'll
Uh,
say maybe Justin Simmons, just to shore up my safety room.
I was about to say, I'm just trying to think of NFL free
I
agents.
was
That's my.
I would say probably Calais Campbell for me. That's probably my biggest question is the depth in the D tackle. I know he's a little older, but he wouldn't have to play as many snaps. I think that would be one of the guys I would want to bring in.
Oh shit. I mean, I know I got a lot of safeties on my roster, but I will definitely take Justin Simmons. I mean, we're pretty set at the safety position, but I would probably go there.
All right. At number 4, we got the Ravens. Anybody want to start with the Ravens?
The Ravens. I could actually see this going both ways. I could see the Ravens falling out of the top 5 real fast, depending on how that defense looks. The Ravens have a good defense every year, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But losing your coordinator, then losing your assistant coordinator, losing from 2 people became defensive coordinators off of the defensive staff, and 1 guy became a head coach. Anytime you have that much turnover, I gotta see how you look the next year. Like I could see that defense taking a big step back just based off of them losing those pieces. But the offense should be good. You know, you add Derrick Henry. You got Zay Flowers. Didn't they draft another wide receiver? I'm trying to think of.
Ches
I can't.
Walker, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. I mean, the kid out of North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a little more development though. I don't think he'll be ready right away. But I think they're still going to be a good team. Obviously, still got one of the best tight ends in the game. Um, I think the play caller switch prior to last season helped them tremendously. And yeah, well, I guess we'll see. But if that defense takes a step back, I could see them being further down in the top 10.
Yeah, so like when I look at the Ravens, I actually really like their draft, man. I think they needed to address their corner position, and I think they did it. I think they did it with Nate Wiggins in the first and TJ Tampa in the fourth. I mean, TJ kind of sunk in the draft, but I think if you put TJ in the right system, I think he could be really good. They also had another running back, Ali out of Marshall. I really like the kid. And I think he got injured in the Senior Bowl, but I thought he went fifth round. That's kind of where I thought he was going to go. And they also drafted Roger Rosengarten out of Washington. So, like a lot of people were like really high on him as well. And kind of like you said, like they drafted Tez. I mean, Tez, like early in the draft process, I wanted to get Tez. And then the more I seen him at the Senior Bowl and through the combine, I'm like, dude is a project. And so I mean, you might not see instant results out of him year one, but if you give him some time, you're probably gonna get results. I mean, as far as Baltimore goes, I mean, like their quarterback is a quarterback. I mean, like I mean, Lamar won his second MVP last year. There are still some things that he needs to work on, and I'm hoping that he took this offseason to work on those things. And I think Zay is going to be even better this year than he was last year. My question for them is their second and third wide receiver. And right now that's Bateman and Nelson Aguilar. And I'm not exactly too confident in Bateman at all, because Bateman, I mean, he was kind of built up to be this really good wide receiver, and he either gets hurt or he just doesn't really produce like that. So I mean, that's offensively, it's their second and third wide receiver and their tackles, because they traded one of their they traded one of their tackles to the Jets, and I think their other guard went to the Jets as well. So I mean, that's my question. That defensively, I think they'll be all right. Yeah, I get it that they lost their DC because he's the head coach at Seattle. I think their linebackers coach is the DC with the Dolphins, and another one of their positional coaches went somewhere else. But the guy they got running the defense, I believe he was coaching on the team last year. So I mean, he's an in-house guy. And I think as long as they have like their linebackers, well, they lost one of their linebackers to the Steelers, but they still have Smith. So as long as they have him, I think the linebacker core will be just fine. And I said it earlier, like I mean, the corners that they added, I think it adds to the corner room, because Marlon is getting older, and I'm not sure like if he's still in his prime. So that would be my one question for the like, I mean like corners and stuff like that. Safety wise, they got Kyle Hamilton, who some consider to be the best safety in the league, and they have Marcus Williams. So I think they're pretty solid there.
Yeah, my question really for the Ravens is that wide receiver core. Yeah, you have Zay Flowers, but like you said, J Mick, I'm not that high on Bateman or Nelson Aguilar. We've seen them in the league for quite some time, and they're just not it for me as like quality players to be at the wide receiver too. Like they'll give you some snaps, but especially with Bateman, his health, that's a big question mark for him, because I don't even know if he's played 15 games in a season. Um, so that's my question, but I do think that the Ravens could be 14. I really like the squad. I like the addition that they did with Derrick Henry. Um, and if Lamar takes continues to produce like he has, I could see the Ravens being the top squad.
Hey, y'all named Bateman and Aguilar, and then I was like, you know what? Let me go see if they got some help like behind them. And then it's like Deontay Hardy, Tylen Wallace, Malik Cunningham, Sean Ryan, Dayton Wade,
Yeah,
Isaiah
yeah,
Washington.
yeah,
What?
bro. Like
Uh,
I mean,
that receiver
I mean,
room
uh,
it's
is
pretty ugly,
not
but I'm not
it's
gonna lie.
not
It's
good.
I mean, the one benefit they have is, I mean, like Mark and like we didn't really mention Mark Andrews, but I mean, Mark is still there. He's coming off an injury, so he should be 100% healthy. So that should help that core a little bit. But other than him and Jay, I mean, it's a little dicey. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I hope Tez do work out for them though. I remember somebody telling me about Deontay Hardy at one point, like he's supposed to break out last season, but I don't know what happened with him getting on the roster. My
And
biggest
another,
issue ain't even. I mean, yes, it's the wide receiver room, but then the second issue is like a defensive turnover. Like,
but
I
I
mean, you
think
lost your
Deontay Harden's
DC,
more
you
like a
lost your. I
return
think
guy
you lost
though.
your cornerback coach. He is. He the
Yeah, they
return guy.
lost.
Yeah, I think he's more like a return guy. Because I thought like didn't he play for the Bills last year or something?
So the linebacker coach is a new DC,
I heard
but
his name somewhere. I heard his name
Yeah,
somewhere.
What,
that
Deontay
means
Hardy?
yeah, I could have sworn he played for the Bills last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
he
I
was
Yep.
a
think so.
Saint. Yeah, he was a Saint. Then he went to the Bills, and then he went to the Ravens this past offseason.
So the linebacker coach is the new DC, and I don't know. Maybe Push can give me more insight into this, but I just to me it's like he's the fourth guy because when the head coach leaves, obviously that would be your first choice to be your DC. Then you have your assistant DC leave. To me, that would be your second choice to be your DC. And then the third choice would be the DB coach that went to, I think he went to the Titans to go over there and be their DC. It was like you got the fourth guy on your roster. It's like I don't know. I have to see it, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it works out, but I got some questions about that defense coordinator. But we gonna see.
I mean, we're definitely gonna see.
But
All
we're gonna
right.
go.
Coming at number 3, we got the Lions, man. We got the Lions, man. Whew. Uh, hey, listen. They sitting in the comments like vultures. They don't even care about 3. They're like, who is
That's a
2
fact.
and
They
who is
want to
1?
see who 2 and 1. That's all
Yeah,
they
they
waiting to
trying to
see.
see who that number one
Hey,
team is.
No reaction
Um,
to number 3.
mm,
nah,
Yeah,
but actually, look, I actually like the Lions though, man. I think they kept their coaching staff. They got people bought into what's going on. If Dan Campbell could just clean up a couple of those, small blunders here and there, where he like, the 3 times in a row going for it for 2 when you could have kicked the field goal. You know, crunch situations where they just go for it on 4th down for no reason. It's sometimes like those type of. I know you are one of those ones that don't mind being in front of the gun, but sometimes you kill your team off even when you think you're doing the best thing you can. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he can clean those up, he won mistake last year, one mistake from going to the Super Bowl. So I mean, he could have been in the Super Bowl last year. So I think number 3 for them is a good spot. Defensively, I mean, they already was solid. I mean, I think their secondary is probably the biggest problem if we would say. And I mean, they got Brian Branch and
Carlton Davis. They
yeah,
got
Carlton
Brian
Davis.
Branch,
Yeah.
Carlton
So I
Davis,
mean, I think
Curtis
they.
Joseph, Terrion Arnold. Those are the projected
Ooh,
starters. And then they got Rakestraw. I don't know if Rakestraw will play in a slot then, but Rakestraw is another one they drafted. So I like the secondary.
yeah, I do, and I think Terry, like for me, going into the draft, I had Arnold as the number one cornerback. So for them to shore up that position that they did with the loss of Sutton, I think I really do like their secondary. I think they have a strong linebacking core. My question mark for them is their D line. I'm not a fan of Marcus Davenport. Um, and so I just need to see what he's gonna give them on the right side of that defense. But outside of that, I do like DJ Reader. I like Aiden Hutchinson. And then if we just look at the offensive side of the ball, they got two solid running backs.
Twan is funny.
And I do like their offensive line.
Bruh.
Uh,
Hey,
and I don't
bruh.
really have.
Listen. Hey, Pop and all the Saints fans when they talk about Marcus Davenport, I can't help but laugh.
I mean, because it's funny because like if you look at
Bruh, they
the
talk about that man with no emotion. They be like,
yeah,
man, listen, they got Marcus Davenport.
Yo,
I
the
think
chat got
Marcus,
me dying right now.
yeah, I
I
mean
gotta
Marcus.
read the chat.
I mean, Marcus, I don't think they're dependent on him to be this star pass rusher because they got Aiden. I mean, Aiden had double-digit sacks last year. They brought in DJ Reader from the Bengals, who's going to be their best run stopper. So I mean, he's probably going to get double teams, and sometimes they're going to double team Aiden. So Marcus just got to win one-on-one. If Marcus could win, I ain't say he got to win every play, but if he can win sporadically one-on-one, I think he'll be all right.
He gonna give you that sporadic one-on-one win too, J Mick. But I do like. I think the
That
one
sounds like
thing
some
I'm
clean
looking.
hate right there.
But I do say the one bright spot I have for the Lions, the one bright spot I do have for the Lions is JMO. I think we're gonna see him take another step with the offense. I think he's gonna solidify himself as wide receiver 2 in that offense, and I think that they are gonna be cooking, especially with the fact that they have St. Brown over there. To me, he is one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league. I could even potentially make an argument top 5. I think he's a really solid number 1 wide receiver. And if Jared Goff can give us what he gave us over the last 2 years, I think this Lions team is going to, like, that they can't be overlooked in the NFC race. Like, they can be overlooked. I think they definitely could be 1 or 2. Finishing the season this year. And to your point, Smitty, Dan Campbell cannot gamble as much as he does with some of these calls that he makes because he's going to hurt his team.
I mean, so like when I look at the Lions, like their weak spot at the end of last season to me was a secondary, and especially at the corner position. And like they got Carlton Davis from Tampa Bay, and they drafted Terrion, who I had as the number 2 corner on my board. And then they also drafted, Rakestraw. Like so it's like they got the depth that they needed at the position on defense where they needed it the most. And they also had a DJ Reader, who was a great like run stopper. So defensively, they should be better. I mean, like I think they should have a top 15 to 17, 18 defense. And then offensively, like Jared Goff, as long as they're able to run the ball with Montgomery and Gibbs, Jared Goff is really good off the play action. And you said it earlier, like they still have St. Brown, who's something to be. Some got him in the top 10, some got him in the top 5. I've heard it from some people. I don't agree with the top 5. I'll put him in the top 10. And then you had Sam Laporta. Like Sam Laporta might have had one of the best rookie tight end seasons in the history of the league. And he's coming back for his second year. And I'm not sure he could put up all the same numbers, but I expect the numbers to be somewhat similar. And then also the Lions, they have the best offensive line in football. And I'm not going to argue with nobody, and you can argue with your mom or your father or whoever you want to. But that line is the best line in football to me. And so I just think they're going to be battling. I can see them back in the NFC Championship game again as long as they stay healthy. I think they could get right back there.
Yeah, I like the Lions. Running back, I think they got one of the best running back duos in the league. I wouldn't put Amon Ra top 5, but I do think he's probably towards the back end of the top 10. Maybe right outside of it. I fuck with Amon Ra. He's a German, so I got always go to root for him. But Laporta had a good season. Jared Goff is top 10 to me. The offense line, Jay, make you right. They got probably the best in the league. In the defense, they shored up the defense, so I don't see why they wouldn't be good. And for Push earlier asking why the Lions are ranked better than the Ravens, they brought back their coaching staff. They brought back their coaching staff and they improved. I have more questions about your team than I do about the Lions. So that's why, me personally, why I had them ranked. the way that they're ranked. Now, I can't speak for anybody else. They can give you their own reason, but that's why I had it the way I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
think
real quick too,
overall, my bad, Ray.
at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna kick off a space where everybody can come in and react to the whole 32 power rankings. Y'all can come in there and argue about spots, whatever y'all want to do. I'm about to tweet out the space in a few minutes, so come tap in later, and then we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah, but to your point, Dre, I do think that overall the Lions are a more complete team than the Ravens. Right now, there's still some question marks with the team, specifically the defensive coordinator. 'Cause and so I just need to see what that looks like. And again, like we just talked about the wide receiver room, that's like it is what it is, but it's not that great. So I do think the Lions are a better team structurally than the Ravens at this moment.
And then I think the other thing about the Lions you got to notice is like they brought back their whole coaching staff in terms of the coordinators. Like the OC was supposed to take a job in Washington, he didn't take that job. He came back. The DC, I think he took a couple interviews, but I don't think anybody thought that he was really going to go anywhere. So he came back. And then obviously the head coach is back, and that's my only issue with the Lions is the head coach. I mean, Dan Campbell, for the most part, like I really like him as a coach, but he's got to learn to make smarter decisions. Like he got to understand. I mean, the Cowboys game was a perfect example when, he tried a 2-point conversion. It didn't, it got called back on penalty or whatever. And he did it again. They got called for a pre-snap penalty. He did it again. Like situations like that, like you got to be smart to say, okay, the first time we it was successful, it was a penalty, called it back. Second time, pre-snap penalty. Sometimes in situations like that, like somebody trying to tell you that the football guys, they're trying to tell you, bro, kick the freaking extra point. And so I just think his decision making got to be better. His team got far. I mean, like with his aggressive coaching style, but that can really bite you. And I just hope that the way they lost the NFC Championship game, like he's kind of learned from that. So.
Hey man, we got 155 people right now here hanging out with us. Look, if you on the X side, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, before we get into these last two, hit the subscribe button. Come on over here, because like what I'm saying, people in the chat right now are going crazy. I think I seen somebody doing voodoo in the chat to try to get the Chiefs to move. Listen, whatever was ranked before y'all got here. We ain't gonna let y'all rank the teams, all right? So whatever was ranked was voted on and concluded before we got on the show. You think I'm sitting here making graphics during the show? I mean, I made a whole picture graphic for the end. I did not do that while we were sitting here communicating with the chat. Okay.
Hey, Smitty, we got people threatening to block us already and everything, man.
What's wrong with
this? I think I've been soft blocked before. I mean, we let the dude from Pittsburgh trade for their center. I mean, we got hit across the head there too. So,
and that was during a mock draft.
Before we get to the last two,
oh, okay. You say you want to wait to get to the last two? Because
yeah, man. We're gonna make them sweat a little bit. They want to know so bad who's two, who's one. I mean, obviously, y'all the top two teams in the league, man. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. Y'all both.
Hey, that's a fact. Hold up.
Had the opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
Hey, this is important. Fair. Just put in the chat, and I agree with him. Check out Wrestling with the Bros on Sunday on this channel. Go check that out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know what time. I plug if you plug it into the chat we work on. I mean, I would go. I think they said. I think it's 9. If I'm not mistaken.
Put the time in the chat, Fair.
And I just can't believe that Neffy and Gina literally typed the same message. Well, one of them copied. Somebody copied somebody, but shit crazy.
Facts.
All right, so can we get into number 2 now?
Yes, it's time to reveal number 2.
So at number 2,
yeah, man, we built it up a little bit.
Yeah. We have the sidewalkless Kansas City Chiefers.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2, man.
Yeah.
said sidewalk list.
Yeah, the sidewalkless Chiefs.
Oh man.
Mhm. I look,
Oh
the Chiefs are
man.
one of the best teams in the league, but on paper they're not the best team in the league. That's just how I look at it. They're not better than I mean, everybody already knows who number one is now, so they're not better than the 49ers on paper. They don't have a better receiving core. They have a better tight end. Offense line, yes. But the defense, I feel like the 49ers have the better defense. It's just, yeah, y'all not a better team. Come back next year. Try again.
Hey, but nah, to that point, I think the Chiefs are when you look at the structure of the 49ers compared to the Chiefs, I think everybody's thinking y'all niggas going crazy. But nah, the wide receiver core on the Chiefs is not that great when you compare it to the 49ers. Yeah, clearly they have the better quarterback and tight end, but I can make an argument that the 49ers have a better offensive line. Um, and defensively, I do like the 49ers. Just a little better. It's not by much, but just a little better. I'll have the 49ers.
Hey,
Um, but we all know the Chiefs are going to be in the playoffs.
well,
Like,
I'm glad you said that, Pop, because Dom she commented we were never the better team in the Super Bowls, but who won both? And we have you in the Super Bowl still. So like, if y'all gonna come and y'all gonna wild out about being number two and not number one, y'all are in the Super Bowl.
I
All
mean,
right.
y'all are still
exactly.
gonna be the AFC team though. That at the end of the
Like
day,
y'all are perennial Super Bowl favorites until we can see that y'all get knocked out of them.
I mean, like
So
y'all are the best ranked AFC team, which would mean we have you in the Super Bowl based on these
exactly,
rankings. That's what that means.
exactly, exactly. So I don't understand what the pushback is. Like,
Yeah.
we know that y'all gonna cook, but at the end of the day, if we just we breaking down the rooms of each position group, like the 49ers just got y'all beat, just respectfully.
Hey, just because your division hands you the goddamn division title every year doesn't mean I'm gonna hand you number one in the NFL. Okay, you better work for this.
But yeah, so I mean, just to speak on the Chiefs and their draft. Like, I actually really did like their draft, though. I mean, Xavier Worthy, I think is a good pick for them. He gives them a speed element that they didn't really have. Kingsley, I really liked him at tackle. I wanted my team to take him in the second round, but the Chiefs traded right in front of us, so it is what it is. Jared Wiley in the fourth round, he's a tight end that I kind of liked a lot too. Um, and they also drafted Jaden Hicks, the safety out of Washington State. I liked him as well. So I mean, they had a lot of picks that I really liked. Like their first four picks, I really liked all those picks. Um, but I mean, when I look at the Chiefs, like I get it that you have one of the better I mean, not safety, I mean one of the better corners in the league, McDuffie. But you did trade your other dude to the Titans, so I kind of want to see what that kind of looks like for your Army CB2. Because I think your CB2 is a guy that they drafted in the previous year. I think his name is Jalen Watson. So I kind of want to see what exactly he can do. I mean, but the front four is strong. I mean, the linebackers are good. And obviously you have the best quarterback in the league and you have the best tight end in the league. I mean, I don't think anybody can really argue. And I mean, Pacheco is one of the better running backs in the league as well. So we got a solid roster, and that's why we got you at number two. So
Um, yeah,
We
I
also
think obviously the 49ers been, the top team for the last 6 or 7, 8 years, it's been very apparent that they, go to the playoffs, they dominate, they win. But right now, if we look at the paper, the team in front of you, I think, when you look at position by position outside of quarterback and I mean at tight end, I mean people for the 49ers would argue that Kittle is, close. I would say, maybe it's an argument, if you wanted to, do that. But I would just say to me, Kelsey is number one, Kittle two. I mean, you got the team. Like, I mean, obviously the Patrick Mahomes does things that Brock Purdy probably could never imagine, being able to do. But uh when you look at everything else, right? I think, offensive line, defensive line, cornerbacks, safeties. I just think 49ers to me when you put all those things together in the equation, they get a bigger piece of the pie. What's up, Aaron? We came in at 5, brother. We came in at 5. We made the top 5 though. You know what I mean? But
Look,
the Chiefers are, a team that's the best AFC team. You know what I mean? They should be able to get back where they went last year. I minimum got them in the AFC Championship right now with what they have constructed. So I mean, at the end of the day,
look,
two is the good spot.
I mean, 2 still got you in the Super Bowl, man.
look, if they can leave their criminal ways in their past, maybe they're 1 point to be number 1 in the NFL. But until they leave their criminal ways in the past, I can't count on anybody being on that roster come week 1. So until they do that, I can't put you number 1.
Yo, that was crazy, Jay.
Hey, that man wild. That man is wild.
Am I lying? They got the 5th most arrests in the NFL. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and I also think we can't overlook them being without Rashee Rice for at least a minimum 6 games this year. So that puts a lot more pressure on that wide receiver core to produce. I'm not a big fan of it, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs have proven that they can win with anybody at wide receiver. So I think they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be fine. My only question for the AFC is like, I mean, like the AFC, like the Bengals, like Joe Burrow got hurt, and I mean, like there were a lot of injuries last year. So, I mean, that's just my question. Is just you kind of wonder who's going to be the number 2 and the number 3 team in that conference to step up, and to give the Chiefs some competition. That's the ultimate question.
Yeah, that's for
Hey,
sure.
that man Nephi wild too.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing a couple minutes ago. Yo,
bro.
Ness is the MVP of the chat today, goddammit. We gonna have to start handing out the CheckDown MVP of the chat. And it's Neff today, goddammit. Neff is going crazy.
I ain't gonna stop.
All right, hold on. We got to get a 49ers Day moment.
Yeah,
You
for
know what
real.
I'm saying? At 1, we got the 49ers, man, coming in at 1. I mean, they usually finish good, you know what I mean? But they just can't pull it off. They've been without that 49ers goal for a long time. Jimmy G, Super Bowl. Listen, the team at number 2, they gave them 2 Super Bowls, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying. I mean, but obviously though, the 49ers do got Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, at running back. Then they got Brandon Ayuk, they got Debo, they got Jawan Jennings. They brought in Ricky Parasol. They got Brock Purdy. I mean, obviously they got the best left tackle in the league. Even though he liked to fight little guys. That's neither here nor there. Then they got arguably the second best tight end in the league. I mean, look at their DN, their DNs, their D line is talented, you know what I'm saying, with Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, all those guys up front, able to, create some havoc. And then, I mean, they got, to me, the best duo of linebackers in the league and Greenlaw and
Warner.
Warner.
Warner,
Greenlaw and Warner, like they it's not really much you could do against those 2 guys across the middle in the run game or the pass game. They're able to, create havoc, even though Greenlaw tried to celebrate and tore his ACL. It's neither here nor there. Those guys are pretty good. I think their biggest question mark is probably, one of their cornerbacks. They also got Malik Mustafa, who I've been reading about has come up, pretty big in this camp right now, as far as filling in for Hufunga right now. So I think this team right here is talented. They got all the right positions. But as Dom said, it has not led to any W's in the big.
Hey, and
So
Mahomes is what, 0-2 and 0-3 against the Colts, but we don't have the Colts at number 1 either, do we? Hell are we doing?
Exactly.
Daniel Jones was
Whoever won
5-1
the
against the Commanders, but the Commanders are ranked as the better team than the Giants, right? Like we gonna keep it consistent. We didn't just look at the list and say, "Oh, we're gonna put the Chiefs at 2 and the Niners at 1." No, we voted on it. We voted on the different categories, took the score, divided it by 3, and the team with the better score was number 1,
Yeah.
and that was the 49ers.
And we don't weight the positions either. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, the Chiefs have the best quarterback in the league, but we don't weight the quarterback position more than the wide receiver position. That's just the way that we did it. So I mean, realize that Pat is the best quarterback in the league. I mean, there is no argument for me on that. But the Chiefs have other points of their roster that aren't as strong as the Niners. And I mean, like the Niners, they got questions too. Now I'm not. I mean, all 32 teams got questions. Like, so I mean, my question for the Niners is, I mean, Hufanga, like he tore his ACL last year. I want to see how he comes back from that. But I mean, he was the season before that, he was an All Pro. So I mean, if he gets back to that All Pro level, like that defense, and they play with him, I think he missed the majority of the season. I think he got hurt early. So you got to think like that defense got them to the Super Bowl or help the team get to the Super Bowl with the offense, obviously. And if Hufanga, who's an All Pro safety, comes back and I mean has the impact that he's capable of having, that defense could be a serious issue for for the Lions and for the Rams and I mean for the Seahawks and whoever makes the playoffs in the NFC.
I don't think the rankings was made content. It was very close between y'all though. I mean, it wasn't a far off moment. I think just when you look at the totality of the team, even though y'all don't like that number, that word, you look at the whole of the team. I just think the 49ers are constructed, to compete. They didn't lose. I mean, I can't even really think of people they lost off the team. Like when I really think about it, I have to go look.
I think they lost.
But I'm saying I got to go look. Who they lost? Can you tell me?
They lost the dude that went to the Jags, the interior D tackle. I can never remember this dude's name for nothing.
Eric Armstead.
Yeah, him. Yeah. They lost him, and then they lost another D tackle to the Jets too. Hold on, let me pull up the Jets because I always forget his name too.
All right, so we've been honest the whole list, and now we get back to the last two. We're not honest all of a sudden.
Yeah, so
the Chiefs are number 1.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
I mean, so they also lost Javon Kinlaw too. He's a D tackle as well. So
Kinlaw. That's who it was. That's who it was. Kinlaw.
So it's Kinlaw and Armstead. But other than those two guys, I think the defense is pretty much intact. And I guess the other question is like Greenlaw got hurt in the Super Bowl, so you kind of got it. I mean, like I've been hearing things that he'll be ready for the season, or he might miss a few games or whatnot. But I mean, he's definitely going to play next year. So.
Yeah,
I think it's a perfect play out. Even if I think it's perfect. Go ahead, Pop.
No, I was gonna say is like you can't take like we get it, y'all won the Super Bowl or whatever, but we're literally breaking these teams down by positions. We're breaking them down to their coaching staff. Like there's a lot of thought that goes into when we make this list. It's not just, oh, okay, we just gonna throw the Chiefs at 2. No. There was a lot of thought, and I just think the 49ers structurally are just a little better than the Chiefs right now. And they proved it. Y'all have been 1 and 2 in each of y'all conferences over the last few years. So we have this as the matchup going to the Super Bowl right now. So I don't think there should be any complaints.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually. If you want to be honest, like when we were doing our whole rankings and everything, I was fighting for the Chiefs at certain parts. I was actually defending the Chiefs. So don't come at me with no, oh, you just a Chiefs hater and that's why you put us at 2. No, because we had real debates about it, and it just ended up the way it ended up. Y'all had 2. Y'all in the Super Bowl. Go cry about not being the best team in the NFL if that's what y'all want to do.
No, I mean, I think. I mean, obviously the Chiefs. I don't think at any time over the past years that they won Super Bowls they were ranked number 1. Like I think most of the time the 49ers went into the playoffs if they were the number one seed as the number one ranked team. Like, yeah, the Chiefs win, but the 49ers, when you look at their rosters, is always stacked. It's always ready to go. They can, I think, when you put the 49ers in the ring with anybody, I mean, you look at their team. I mean, they ready to line up and match up with any team in the NFL right now. I mean, I don't care what your team look like. If you think you got the best team, obviously you got Patrick Mahomes. So that, in all actuality, for some people, would give you a extra push over the Chiefs, over the Niners, because you got Pat. But we didn't weigh the system like that, man. We weighed the system evenly. If you had the better quarterback, we say, okay, you got the better quarterback, and then we moved on to the next position. We didn't say you had the better quarterback so you get extra points in the offensive philosophy because your quarterback is, listen, I don't think he would have got extra points either. Just being real.
And
And
just
I
to
mean,
get back to the 49ers, I think they have the best back end of their defense. Like that secondary, I think is one of the best groups right now in the NFL, and that can't be overlooked.
yeah, and I mean, like, I mean, other things like that. That's just their starting four back there. But then they also drafted Green from Florida State. He's a corner. Drafted him, and I mean, like they drafted obviously Pearsall. Like I really like Pearsall in this draft. They also drafted Dominic Puny, who could play tackle or guard. I mean, they do got a weak spot at the right tackle, so they kind of did attack it in the draft a little bit. Um, and I mean, they added a bunch of wide receivers and like running backs in this draft as well. And like you said, like it's not even the fact of like this is just paper. Like we're at the point of the year. We're in June. It's all about what's on the paper. And right now we got the 49ers one, but who knows? Like I said, like we're gonna do another power rankings right before the season. And just because they're one now, don't mean they're going to be one to start the season on. But they very well could be as well. So we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, man. I think this, hey Dre, I think that space gonna be epic though, because there's people that ain't in the chat right now. That's fans that I think are gonna show up and they ain't gonna like the list either.
Yeah, man, tap in. Like I said, it's gonna be what 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I gotta take care of some things before we do all that, but yeah, tap in later. And all you Chiefers, you can come in there and cry about you not being number one if that's what you want to do.
I think they're in a great spot, man. I mean, obviously the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl would be, all y'all with. Y'all said y'all three-peating. You put y'all back where y'all said y'all was gonna be at.
Look,
Facts.
I'm a Giants fan. I done seen my team go into 2 Super Bowls as not the favorite and win. So don't come to me about, oh my God, you gotta say number 2 and not number 1. No. The best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl. I mean, Dom said it. They weren't the best team in the Super Bowls against 49ers the first 2 times, right? Okay.
I'm just saying, y'all been asking us to let y'all go ahead 3P easy. That's all I've been hearing this entire offseason. So, hey,
Wait,
Hey
Fair,
man,
how can it be
it's been fun
insane
though.
to
Like,
say
I ain't
that?
gonna lie.
Fair said it's insane to say they have the better roster and then said, but they do have the better roster. What sense does that make, Fair?
yeah, and then he was saying that we should weight
Well,
the
he's trying
quarterback
to wait
position
Patrick Mahomes. He's
for
trying to put a weight on him. You can't.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's trying to
All right,
weight the
if that's the
quarterback
case, then we
position.
gotta. If that's the case, we gonna wait Jerry Jones too. We're gonna put y'all at like 28 because by the time you get to the playoffs, y'all are gonna turn into the 32nd team in the NFL because you never perform in the playoffs.
And if y'all's gonna do that, then you gotta do it with Josh Allen and Burrow and all like get them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
wait Dak Prescott, and it's gonna shift a lot of teams around because
yeah.
I'm just saying y'all might be a top 10 team, but that doesn't mean your quarterback is.
I mean, but it was fun doing this though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was fun, especially the arguments and debates we had amongst each
very fun,
other for
very entertaining.
teams and stuff like that. Like, got to see the various opinions people had looking at a squad, and yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, next
Especially
week.
the interaction with the chat. That's been fun too.
Yeah, next week we're not gonna be here. Next week we're taking a break. But after that, we're gonna come back and we're gonna give y'all some college content. Talk about just the changes in college football, and then we'll start going through divisions and stuff like that. So y'all should tap in for that. Even if you don't know a lot about college football, we're gonna be breaking it down, so you'll learn something if you don't already know, and if you do know, come and interact with us and have a good conversation with us.
And I mean, for those that don't know a lot about college football, this is a chance for y'all to get some knowledge on college
Hey
football
man,
for the
it's
season upcoming. So
Hey man, it's 200 people in here with us, man. This probably the best show we had in a long time because y'all was waiting for that Chiefs hate to come out or whatever y'all want to call it. We appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. We love all y'all the same, man. We appreciate y'all. If y'all could do one favor though, I know we be asking, just go to the YouTube side and hit the subscribe button so you can catch every show. Because we do the season predictions. When we go through and go through it and predict game by game, you know what I'm saying, and then we re-rank your teams. I don't want you to miss it, but I want you to know exactly where your team is at because when we see the 53-man roster, it could possibly change a lot. Everything could greatly change. Trades, all type of things. So just make sure y'all come out, man. Please, please.
Yeah, facts. So if everybody that's on Twitter, click on my page and just type that reminder button, and so you'll get a reminder when the space start later. Come through, chop it up with us. Tell us what you think about the whole power rankings, not just the top five, but because not everybody's team in the top five. But just tell me what you think about or tell us what you think about where your team is compared to the other teams and the changes you would make.
Steezy, everybody laugh because y'all get upset when we say Chiefs hit.
They get upset when you don't want to hand them the title. You don't want to hand them the title, they get mad. Earn it.
It's
I'll
been
say
fun,
this:
man.
y'all
But
win the
hey, man,
Super
we had the
Bowl,
hour and
y'all
30
gonna
minutes.
finish the
Well,
season.
25.
Look, y'all win the Super Bowl, y'all gonna finish
Huh?
the
They gonna
season
finish
as the
season
number
what?
one team. As the number one team, if they've win the Super Bowl, right? There's no disputing that. So
yeah,
just because you're not number one
Exactly.
right now, then go out and prove you're number one on the field.
Exactly.
that's a fact.
Yeah, man. But if you want the one, you gotta go get it. That's all we can say. Make us eat crow. I mean, that's all we can do at this point. Where's Rome? That's who I need to see right now. Where he at?
He being
Mm.
emotional. He being emotional.
mm.
But hey, man, we at the hour 25-minute mark, man. Anything y'all got for the people before we get out of here?
No, not really. I mean, and we're gonna see you in 2 weeks, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, tapping with the spaces. If you like college football, tap in with my guy Jay Hunter. He be running college football spaces, good content over there. Yeah, subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and we'll see you either in 2 weeks or in spaces.
Uh, tomorrow night at 9, tap in wrestling with the bros. And tonight, tap in with us on the spaces, man. At 5, we gonna be live, man. We gonna post up all the list of the previous weeks of the power rankings. We get y'all comments, man. I know it's gonna be a little insane. If you we're gonna try our best to let everybody get their words in, everybody get their licks in or whatever of that nature. So y'all tap in with us, man. Follow everybody on the panel, man. We all doing a little bit of everything, man, to try to make sure your experience with us is the greatest experience you can have, man, when it comes to this football thing. We're not gonna be the best, but we're gonna try to give you our best. That's all I can say. Well, with that being said, man, we gonna get up out of here, man. Love, peace. Well, it ain't gonna be too much peace today, but love, war, and the Chiefs not having sidewalks. We out.